I am going to just basically follow along the left-hand column, and we're going to talk about all of those tools, and I will give you some suggestions as to how you might use those yourself to prep the PDF, and also how the students might use those as they open the PDF on their end. Before we get to that, I want you to just look at the blue bar at the top. Of course, it says you're a teacher. Students won't say that. It says trial ends in 15 days, like I was talking about, but that will be extended if our closure gets extended. And then you see some other tools, a search tool. You can toggle that sidebar on and off. Over to the right, I want you to notice your initials. In the very, very far right, your initials are in a little circle over there. That's indicating that you're the one that is editing this document. There's a save button, and then there's a download. I'll talk about the save and the download in a little bit. So I think I'm ready to go ahead and get started. So in my document, and if you would, everyone flip over to the Google Meet, just so you're watching. I want to just give you a little bit of an overview, and then I'll get into the tools. So everyone in the Google Meet looking at my screen, this file is a PDF file that has editable text, not editable, but actual text on it. This is not a PDF that you scanned on the copy machine and it got sent to you as a quote PDF. It's not really a PDF. It's just basically an image that is a PDF file. So at the very end of today's session, I'll show you how to take those scanned documents and make them a file that is like what I have, which is a file that I can click and highlight text, which is, I think, the best option. Okay, so when I made this file, when I put this file together, I created one that had some text in it. I have some questions that maybe I want my students to answer, and I have I just threw this in just for math purposes so that I can show you how to use a particular tool, the equation editor inside of Kami. So I'll be going over that in a little bit later. So I just wanted to show you that this particular file has editable text in it, and you can highlight it and do certain things with it. All right, so I'm gonna go to the first tool, the arrow tool, and you get three tools that pop out. We can't really see the effect of those quite yet because we don't have any objects yet. So I'm going to skip those for now, and I will come back to them once we've got some content, some annotations in our document. The next tool down right underneath that is the dictionary tool. So I'm going to click on that dictionary tool. This is an awesome tool. I think you'll find it very beneficial. Hopefully it will be beneficial for your students. When you're in that tool, if you just go over, and this again only is if it is real text, not an image. Okay, so everything that I'm going to be talking about, except for one item or a couple items, has to do with if it's something that has that highlightable text. So if I click on the word summer, it's going to define the word summer. If I go over here and click on obligated, it's going to give me the definition of obligated. So it will define any word that the student clicks on. So that's dictionary, very straightforward. The next one is very cool. It's the text to speech. So I'm going to click on the text to speech icon. I'm going to click in front of evolution. And I'm just going, and it's going, now you can see it highlighting, but you can't hear it because you can't hear, but my computer is actually reading these words. Okay, I'm going to hit stop because it's bothering me. But when you start to play, it will actually read the text. Again, only if it's not an image type text. So the tools inside here are read the previous sentence, read the next sentence, loop, like loop the document. When it's done reading it, read it again. The play and stop buttons, you can choose, there's a few voices in there that you can change the voices. And then the speed. By default, it starts out at 1x, like one time. And I find that to be a little fast. I reduced it down to 0.8, and you do so just by clicking on it and just dragging the slider. And it doesn't really tell you, but you can see it in the little black area. I found that 0.8 seems to be pretty good, or maybe 0.7, just depending on your students' level of how they, how they want to hear it. So they can do this as well. You can't define this, but they can do it on their end. And that will define how quickly it reads that text. So that is text to speech. The next tool is the markup tool. The markup tool is great for your purposes and for the student's purposes. So for example, let's say, and again, you don't have to be looking at my screen, but this might help you if you're looking at my screen as I start with this. So you might want to highlight certain parts of the document that you want them to focus on. And so I might want to highlight the allowing the organizing committees to host countries. I might want to highlight that sentence. If I am in the highlighter tool and I highlight over that text, it will highlight whatever color I've chosen. I can change that color. So if I roll over that highlight, I can change the color on the fly and make it whatever color I want. I can delete that highlighting. And then I can add, and here's the cool thing, I can convert this to a comment. Now we're going to talk about the comments in just a second, which is the next tool down, but you can convert this to a comment right from the highlight tool. I will hold off on that as we finish off going through the rest of the tools inside here. I'm going to jump over the second one, which is box highlighter. I'm going to go to the strike through. Okay, so I'm going to go to the strike through. I'm going to go to a certain amount of text, and I'm just going to strike through. Again, it will strike through in whatever color that I have chosen on my color palette. And then underline is the same thing. Underlines text that I highlight in whatever color I have chosen. The tool I skipped over, which is the box highlighter, that is a highlighter that you can use on this type of document, but it's the only one that'll work if you've given your students an image, meaning it's not this highlightable text. Okay, so if your PDF is not highlightable text, the only highlight tool that will work is the box highlighter. You can still kind of do the same thing, but it's not like highlight a sentence and it will automatically highlight for you. You have to just draw the box around the region that you want to highlight. It's also a great way to highlight, if you've got any kind of other annotation. Okay, the next tool is the comment tool. I think this is really great for you as the teacher to prep your document with some things like this. For example, I'm going to go to the first one, which is the text comment. And I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to say, actually, before I do that, because I want to do it on this one. So I'm going to, erase, actually, I'm just going to undo. There we go. Okay, I just undid Command Z until that highlight was gone because I wanted to use this one on my example. So I'm going to take this, yeah, go ahead. Tell me who you are because I don't know who's talking. Okay, I thought someone had a question. So I'm going to go to the comment tool and I'm going to highlight that first sentence. The reasoning behind the change is, I'm going to highlight that whole sentence and I'm going to make that a comment. And what I'm going to put in the comment is it's going to be a prompt for my students. So like I might say something like, what is your reaction to this this change? And I put in that comment as a little prompt. And what the students will then be directed to do by you is to reply to that comment, and that is their response. In that reply to the comment, they will be responding to your prompt. But there are some things that can take this to the next level. Very cool things, okay? So I'm going to keep that there. But then I'm just going to randomly highlight this next one. And instead of typing the prompt, and your students can do this as well, by the way, especially for your little ones that maybe can't type very well, and can't spell very well. This tool right here, the voice typing, is fantastic. If you click on that, and I'm going to in just a second, it's going to prompt to allow the use of your microphone. Okay, I already have, so it's not going to prompt me, but for you, if you're testing this out, it's going to prompt you to allow your microphone to be used. So I'm going to click on that little guy right there. And this is how I can simply put in my answer to the teacher's prompt, period. Turn it off, and there you go. So anybody can answer the prompt regardless of their keyboarding skills. Although hopefully they're getting better, and maybe you're allowing some time for them to do keyboarding in your instructions, and hopefully you're recommending that maybe if they just want to go on and be active on the computer, that they would get into EduTyping. I would recommend that. So that's that little tool. Let's take it up a notch even more. The very next level or next tool inside there, it looks like a little microphone. So I'm going to click on that little microphone. This time I'm going to highlight some text, and I'm just going to do random text here. I'm going to highlight this right here. And it's going to actually record my voice right on the fly. So it starts recording right on the fly. It's recording my voice. I have a maximum of 5 minutes that I can share with them. That's a long time. But I have 5 minutes that I can talk to the students about what I have just highlighted. And then you just click that little box and it stops that recording. So when the students open this, if you've prepped with all of this stuff and the students open this inside of Kami, they're going to be able to click that play button, and they're going to be able to hear exactly what you said. In addition, they're going to be able to give their own reply using their own voice. So you can actually hear your students replying because they have that ability to record their own voice, and it gets sent back to you through the Kami document. So that's really, really cool. Let's take it up one more notch. The very next tool is a video comment. If you click that tool, I'm going to go down just a little bit, highlight some more text. It actually opens up a video, and it's recording me talking to the students. So not only can they hear me, they can actually see me. And again, you have 5 minutes worth on this particular recording as well. Guess what? The kids can do the same back to you. So if they go and they do a reply, it's going to pop open their camera and they can video themselves in a safe environment right inside this Kami doc. That you can then see when the student turns in this file. The next one is the screen capture. I'm not going to go through that one. You can try it out, but I don't see that as a huge benefit. We've got a lot of other screen recording capabilities, so I'm not really going to cover that one with today. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Kami tab. The next tool is text boxes. This is pretty straightforward. I'm going to scroll down to my questions just to show you. Very straightforward. I click the text box. I can pick my size of font. I can pick my color of the text. If I just click and inside of an area, I can just type my text. However, if you notice up top here, you have different fonts, you have different line spacing. I'm not going to go through all of these things, but what I am going to point to is this little microphone over here. The voice typing also works inside of the text tool as well, or text boxes as well. So if I click that little guy, I can now record whatever I have, and it will type that out as I'm speaking. And then just turn that off, and it's there as well. So that tool works inside of text boxes as well. Oh yeah, I always forget about this one. They've also incorporated emojis. So I think that's just for fun. So I don't know, be careful with that one. The students, I'm sure, will find it, and we'll be adding emojis all sorts of places on inside of their text files or text objects. The next tool is the equation tool. Not sure how much of you would have a need for this in a K4 environment, but I do want to just show it to you just so that you can see. This tool also works inside of the text tool under the formula. Okay, so I'm just going to go to this tool right here, the equation tool. Again, you can choose your font size. There's a whole bunch of mathematical symbols inside here. So maybe some angles and greater than, less than. So maybe some of these tools, there are some music notes and things like that that you might be able to use for music class. So I'm just going to click over here. Let me get out of that. Okay, I'm just going to click over here, and I just want to show you X, and then the keystroke is Shift-6. It makes an exponent. So X squared, and then if you do a space, it takes you back down to the normal level, plus 1. Okay, so you can make a simple equation. I can click elsewhere. I can make another one, and I can make fractions very, very easily. 1/2. If I just use the slash on my keyboard, it thinks that I want to make a fraction. So you could make, and then the space bar takes me back. So 1/2 plus 2/3 space equals, and so I can make myself a nice little, so that might be a benefit for you if you want to create, you know, a math worksheet, if you wanted to create one from scratch. Since we're at this point, I'm going to go up to this tool, the select tool, the arrow tool. If you're doing this on your own, the arrow tool all the way at the top. The select text is the way that you can move, I'm sorry, the way that you can move these things around. Okay. But you have to kind of get on the edge of them. Come on. No, it's not moving that one. Maybe it's just the text objects. The hand tool might, yeah, nope, the hand tool just moves me up and down on the screen. Oh, there we go, the select annotations. So that's how I can move this guy around on the screen. Sorry about that. So this is for your selecting of text, and this is all those other types of annotations to just move them around on the screen. Again, oftentimes you get a dialog box where you can change the font, change the color, delete that item. Maybe you want to copy and paste it to duplicate it, so you can do that as well. The next tool is the drawing tool. I will be very honest with you. This is a much better tool if we all had touch screens. So if I've got any of my kindergarten or first grade teachers, this tool is going to be very nice for you. I apologize, second, third, and fourth teachers. There still is some drawing that the students can do. It's just not the greatest. I've got a pen with a stylus tip, and so it's a little clunky, but if I move my cursor over to this region, I can actually draw. Okay, they can, and then they can maybe make a smiley face. Okay, I can even, if I'm really good at it, I can duplicate that equation or that expression. Again, not the greatest, I know, but I just want you to show, I wanted to show you that it's possible. Okay, and of course you got your colors and your thickness and all that. The next tool is the shapes tool. This is much better for the trackpad. You can make yourself a square, a circle, a rectangle, a line, different colors, different thicknesses. Okay, but if you didn't know this, with the rectangle and the ellipse tool, if you hold down the shift key, this goes with anything, Word, slides, Google Docs, all of that. if you are making a shape and you hold the shift key down for the ellipse, it'll make a perfect circle, no matter what you do with your cursor. Same thing with the rectangle tool. If I hold the shift key down, it will make a square, no matter what I do. If I want to move those around, go back to the select tool. These are annotations. I can then move them around on the screen. Oops. First select them and then move them around on the screen. So that is the shapes tool. Okay, the next one is the eraser. There's two choices in the eraser. The first one is the annotations. So if I go up to my annotations, I'll go up to this one where I just highlighted in pink. I just click on it and it deletes it. So those are for the annotations. The next one are for the drawings and shapes. So if I click on that one, I can go down here and I can click on the circle and it just erases those drawings or shapes. Going back up to the select tool and the select annotations tool, if I draw a rectangle around a bunch of annotations, I can delete them all at once. Not the text boxes, but the drawings and shapes. So if I hit the delete there, it will take those off. It didn't get this one because it was not in my selection area. Oh, it looks like it took the text box away too. It doesn't take away these guys. It doesn't take away the annotations, just all of the items that we added through these other tools. The last tool on that left-hand side is the signature tool. I'm not going to cover that one, but what it gives you the ability to do is to add your signature onto any, like digitally sign something. So you can physically add your physical signature onto a file and then send it to somebody. Okay, so those are all of the tools inside of this document, inside of this Kami environment.